Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to another Deepvue tutorial. Today we'll be focusing on one of our preset scans here in the platform, and these are designed to help you find market leaders faster and to identify top ideas. And the scan that we'll be focusing on today is one of our top traders preset scans, and that is for Dr. Eric Wish's Green Line Breakout setup. So in this video we'll be discussing what this setup is, how you can use the screen to find opportunities, and also run through a few different examples to kind of bring everything together. So if you enjoy this, please go ahead and leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let us know if you have any questions as well. And if you have any recommendations for the next tutorial that you'd like to see, let us know down below as well. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right in. So to access our preset scans, we'll go ahead and clear this out to basically start from scratch here. What you want to do to load up a screen is first navigate to the screener module using the toolbar here. Once you're there, you want to click this drop down menu, go over to screener presets, and there you can navigate through the dozens and dozens of preset screens that we have for a lot of technical screens. We've got fundamental based screens, and what we're going to be focusing on today is a lot of our top traders preset screens that we've incorporated from many fantastic traders. We've got Mark Minervini scans in here, Qual Maggi, Stan Weinstein, Oliver Kell, Mike Webster. There's a lot of great scans in here that you can not only use to find top ideas, but also kind of serve as the foundation for you to create and iterate and make your own scans. The one we'll be focused on today is Dr. Wish's Green Line Breakout. And if you don't know who Dr. Wish is, he basically is a professor at the University of Maryland. He is the person who first taught me how to trade. I took his class way back in junior year of my undergrad, and he basically is a CAN/SLIM trader. He's been doing it for 50 plus years, has his own kind of methodology applied to the CAN/SLIM methodology. And the Green Line Breakout is his basically breakout trading strategy that looks for stocks that have moved up, made a new all-time high, rested for at least 3 months, and then broken out on high volume. It fits very well with the CAN/SLIM methodology, and this Green Line Breakout is often the start of multi-week, multi-month moves, and that's what we're trying to catch as swing and position traders. So to load up that screen, what you want to do is go over to Top Traders, hover over that, move to the side, and then go ahead and click Dr. Wish Green Line Breakout. This will load the results, and currently there's only one result today. We're currently in a market correction, so there's not going to be too many breakouts to sort through, but when the market conditions improve and stocks start breaking out again of sound bases, this will be a great scan to review to kind of identify those trends early, because often this breakout is just the start of a move. And if you get a strong move up like this, institutions are likely behind it, especially if there's a large pickup in volume. And then what you want to do is wait for that next setup, whether that's a consolidation, whether that's a 3 weeks tight, whether that's a pullback to the 21 EMA. Basically, you want to wait for a spot where you can manage risk and enter as it kind of consolidates, pulls back, and then pushes higher, and ideally starts a longer term trend. So if we open up the filters, these are the requirements for this screen. You can 100% go ahead and make this your own. We've got the Green Line Breakout logic built into this preset for you. We're looking for ADRs or common stocks, and we're looking for above average volume run rate on a 50-day basis above 100%. So that is the criteria. You can certainly add your own filters on top of this or tweak this however you wish. Looking at this setup, let's go ahead and move over to a monthly chart, because that's really where this setup comes into play. And we'll go ahead and load that up. So let's talk through the Green Line setup. So first, to draw a green line, what's required is for the stock to make a new all-time high. So here TMDX is moving higher. It's moving into new all-time high territory. Then you can see it forms a high here and consolidates for 1, 2, and 3 months. At this point, this high becomes that green line level. So you can go ahead and take a line here, drag it to the top of that month, and even right click on it, add alert, and say GLB for Green Line Breakout, and create an alert on that line. Then you can basically wait all the way until the stock consolidates, moves higher, and finally breaks through that line of resistance. And at that point, on that day, it satisfies the criteria for a green line breakout. So just to review, what's required to draw in a green line and to potentially have a green line breakout is the stock needs to make a new all-time high, not just 52-week high, and then it needs to consolidate for at least 3 months. So once we form a new high, you can count 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. At that point, you can draw in this green line here and wait for the stock to set up again and break through. Now you can also potentially set, an early alert down here or alert above here, because often stocks will set up, a lower buy point, lower low risk buy point below this key level. And there's sometimes opportunities to buy an earlier breakout and get in a little bit before the green line breakout, but that's not necessarily needed, because often these green line breakouts lead to multi-month, even multi-year moves. And, getting in a little bit early isn't always, worth the risk of being shaken out or having a failed breakout, something like that. So that's just a suggestion. If you're really looking to apply the strategy, you can look for shorter term entry tactics as the stock approaches this line. Look for, tight areas, a mini base forming within this longer term base. That's what we kind of had with TMDX. But basically, to draw that green line in is the process I showed. It has to form a new all-time high and rest for at least 3 months. And TMDX certainly kind of fulfills that criteria. So once we have that line in play, let's go back over to a daily chart. And you can see we've got that line drawn in. And today on earnings, we had that green line breakout. We broke through that line on much larger than usual volume. In fact, it's the largest volume since way back in November of 2023. So it satisfies both conditions of the green line breakout, breaking through that line, as well as having abnormally large volume. So this is a great scan to review regularly because it notifies you of stocks breaking into new all-time highs after long-term big bases that can be just the start of major moves. For instance, if we bring up ELF, this is a great example from way back in earlier 2023. And let's go over to actually a monthly chart. Let's bring that up here. And we'll go ahead and scroll back. You can see that we had a green line breakout right here around $30. And look at where the stock is now. It reached a peak of around 229. So almost a 10x here. Since that green line breakout, it's currently pulling back and basing. But this green line breakout was just the start of this major move. So let's talk through again how to draw this green line, because this one is actually a really good example because the all-time high isn't quite right here. So first, you have to find the all-time high. So here, in this case, the high is 32.54. Let's see if it gets higher. 32.38, 32.30, 33.63. So it looks like, yep, this was 32.54. So this was actually the high. But if this was higher here, if this was the all-time high, you draw it using the high of that line. But in this case, this actually was the new all-time high. So we tried to push out, but then started a basing process. So again, the stock has to form a new all-time high. It did on this monthly bar right here. Then it rested for 1, 2, 3 bars. At this point, you can draw in the green line right at that high, and it actually kind of adds power to the setup that this lines up very nicely with the IPO move back here. It just kind of adds power to this level and makes it even more significant. But zooming in here, let's go ahead and make this bigger. This is the green line, so you can go ahead and change it to green if you would like to make sure that you recognize it as a little bit more significant. And at this point, we're basing. We can draw on the green line after we get to this point here. We've had 3 months of basing. The stock starts pushing up and goes and rallies all the way from 23, low 20s, all the way up to 33. That's a 50% move. And you might think the move is done. We've had a significant push higher, but often these green line breakouts are just the start, as I mentioned, of really nice trends. And institutions pushing off the lows of the base and being able to break it out, that really suggests that the stock could have legs, and then you want to dive deeper into the story, the can slim criteria, all the other kind of, subjective as well as, analytical aspects of your trading strategy and seeing if the stock kind of fits your methodology. So we get the green line breakout here. Let's go over to a daily chart. So this is actually another good example because we actually get a failed green line breakout before the ultimate successful green line breakout. And this is real trading. This is what actually happens in real life. You don't always get that green line breakout that just goes, but this is a great example to go through. So here we've got that push off lows here, that 50% move. We then form kind of a mini consolidation pattern here where we tighten against that level because it is so significant. We try to break out here. You can see volume actually isn't that high here, which could be one thing to look out for potential failed green line breakouts. We pull back below that green line breakout level, tighten up again. Then here, depending on your entry tactic, you could have, looked to enter. If this is your entry tactic, near green line breakout, near a larger pattern, and you can manage risk versus that weekly low, you can definitely go ahead and do that. Or if you want to wait for some type of setup after the green line breakout, that's definitely a way to go as well. But we do get a move higher, but this doesn't technically count as a green line breakout. And why? Because we don't have that volume requirement. And in fact, we don't really see the volume come in until we get a gap up on earnings. So this, in terms of my interpretation as well as the scan, is where we get the true green line breakout. So we see a gap up on earnings. ELF was improving their product. We've got great earnings growth, a nice surprise in there as well. We gap up, close well as well. And then we're waiting again for a tradable setup, whether that's a pullback to a moving average, some type of other entry tactic, pull back to the 21 EMA, or just waiting for that next breakout, which we get later on. But this is the green line breakout in this case because we see that volume come in, we see the definitive move above that level, and we stay above it. Now, a key thing with the green line breakout, and it's really exemplified here, is if we close below the green line breakout is invalidated. So that's very important to remember, and we don't just hold on to a stock and hope, because I've seen stocks that try to break out and then fail the next day or in the next week, and then continue to fall and start a downtrend. They don't all kind of form a range and kind of re-break out. So you have to manage your risk and make sure that you realize the green line breakout is invalidated if we close back below that green line. But that's a great example with ELF of a green line breakout that really started a multi-month, multi-week move. And just kind of zooming out, you can see, the extent of this move. This is really a model book move, and it all starts from that larger pattern, that green line breakout that basically starts the move, starts that momentum, and allows you to not only notice the stock and make sure it's on your radar by looking at the results of a green line breakout scan regularly, but also potentially jumping on for the ride at your particular setup, whatever it may be, whether it's a pullback setup or waiting for a 3 weeks tight or some other entry tactic. So that's pretty much it for this video. Wanted to cover this Dr. Wish green line breakout setup. Definitely highly recommend also just going through the other scans that we have available. A lot of great ideas that you can use to not only find top ideas and top growth stocks, momentum leaders, but also more general screens that you can use to get a sense of the environment, get a sense of rotation, and where the money is flowing. So thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead and leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and we'll see you guys in future videos. Take care.